Welcome to NarrativeNook audio tales where enchanted stories come to life. If you enjoy our stories, please subscribe, like and share to support our channel. Enjoy listening.
Zacharias snorted. Can't your love affair be made public? Shirley was rendered speechless. Couldn't this man hold back his words? It's not that it can't be made public, but I haven't announced it yet. So, Mr. Flintstone, please curb your curiosity, she retorted. Zacharias glanced at his wristwatch. He had already wasted a lot of his time talking to her, and he still had a pile of work waiting for him. You may leave. Shirley was about to leave when the man suddenly thought of something and said, Don't go to bed yet. Cook supper for me at 10:30 p.m. She blinked. Why did he want to eat supper late at night? She couldn't help but ask, What do you want to eat? Anything is fine. I remember there are pierogi and dumplings in the fridge. Shirley thought that those were easy to make. Dumplings then. The man decided. Okay. I'll wait for you until 10:30 p.m., she replied. After that, she opened the door and left. The man sitting at the table found it hard to immediately focus on work. Another question lingered in his mind: who was the man Shirley secretly admired? Which lucky guy had captured her infatuation? Shirley returned to her room and took off her coat before revealing a shirt underneath. With her tall and well-proportioned figure, the slightly tight-fitting uniform set showcased her curves perfectly. She had a perfect body, but she usually wore uniforms at the base and was unable to show it off. She decided to take a bath first as she still had 2 hours left until 10:30 p.m. She could rest a bit or read a book. After a shower and changing into a loose long t-shirt, her long hair, which was now dry, flowed down her waist like a waterfall. She was as graceful as a swan. She lay on the bed, picked up a book, and checked her phone. Her mother had sent a voice message, so she replied to the message. Since she had coordinated with her grandmother, her parents wouldn't suspect anything. Her grandmother helped her keep her internship a secret, so if her parents returned unexpectedly, her grandmother would inform her immediately. During her internship, she might have to take a few days off to spend time with them. As long as Zacharias was easygoing, it should be manageable. So, during her internship, she had to serve her boss well so that when the time came to ask for leave, he would be more accommodating. Time unknowingly passed, and it was already 10:20 p.m. Shirley got up, went to the 3rd floor, and arrived outside the study. She listened for any voices inside before she knocked and opened the door slightly while asking, Mr. Flintstone, shall I bring it up for you, or will you come down to eat? I'll come down, the man answered her. All right. I'll go down and cook for you, she said before closing the door. She went downstairs to the kitchen and found the frozen dumplings. They weren't the packaged ones from the supermarket, but specially provided for Zacharias' household. She realized she was a bit hungry, but decided not to eat to maintain her figure. She ended up cooking 20 dumplings unintentionally. When she realized it, it was already too late. Shirley had no choice but to go with it. She placed her iPad nearby while searching for tutorial videos. She learned to cook on the spot. She took a bowl, followed the instructions to prepare a fragrant sauce, and sprinkled chopped green onions on top, making it visually appealing. She scooped 10 dumplings using a ladle into the soup and felt a sense of accomplishment. Zacharias came downstairs and saw the captivating figure standing in front of the kitchen counter. He narrowed his eyes. Had she taken a shower? Shirley heard footsteps behind her. She turned around and locked eyes with the man descending the stairs. The dumplings are ready. I'll bring them out in a moment. She smiled at him. Under the light, her bright and lively eyes reflected the surrounding crystal lights, making them sparkle. The man couldn't tear his gaze away for a moment. Shirley brought out the first bowl of dumplings. Her long, smooth, and black hair was tied into a simple bun, with a few strands of bangs falling gracefully on her beautiful cheeks. In the man's eyes, she seemed more appetizing than the bowl of dumplings. She went back to the kitchen. With her back to the man, her slender legs, which were as delicate and fair as snow, were partially covered by the white t-shirt dress, accentuating her curvy and alluring figure. His gaze became more intense and he couldn't help but secretly gulp. I accidentally made too many dumplings. Please don't waste them. You have to eat them all. Shirley brought out the second bowl while looking a bit embarrassed as she smiled at him. Eat with me then. The man raised an eyebrow. She thought that it would be too much for him to finish so many dumplings by himself late at night. All right. I'll put a few more in your bowl then, she said as she used her fork to add a few more to his bowl after taking a few for herself. Zacharias sat down and savored not just the dumplings but also the light and pleasant atmosphere created by the girl beside him. He had been living here alone for over a year. Unless he requested assistance, the vast mansion had only his solitary figure. Tonight was undeniably destined to be full of vitality, making the night indescribably wonderful. Is your work finished? You won't be working late, will you? Shirley asked while showing concern. Are you worried about me? Zacharias asked while elegantly chewing his food. She smiled. Of course. I believe people all over the country care about you. His mood was still okay after hearing her first sentence. However, when he heard the official statement in the following sentence, his good mood took a hit. Shirley couldn't help but ask when she sensed a slightly awkward atmosphere. Mr. Flintstone, didn't your nephew say he wanted to live here? Why haven't I seen him? Do you want him to live here? Zacharias asked her back. She was speechless. Why did this man always have such an aggressive tone? She was just trying to chat with him. He took it as if she had some ulterior motive. It was really tiring to communicate with this man. No. I'm just curious. Shirley pursed her lips. He was kicked out by me, Zacharias replied. Why? She was curious. The reason why he kicked out his nephew that night was simple. His nephew had begged him all night to introduce Shirley to him and he found it annoying. He's too noisy, he replied casually. Upon thinking about it, Shirley agreed. Tony was indeed noisy. Mr. Flintstone, can I ask you a favor? If your work involves meeting my great-uncle, please don't bring me along. I don't want my parents to know that I work here, she said to him. Zacharias nodded. Sure. Then, he raised an eyebrow. Do I get any benefits? Her nerves were on edge again. She asked him, what benefits do you want? He thought for a moment and made a request. Give me a massage every night before bed. Shirley was stunned. Was it appropriate to massage him before bed? Mr. Flintstone, do you have a girlfriend? She couldn't help but ask. She thought that if he had a girlfriend, his girlfriend would surely take care of such matters. No. Zacharias glanced at her. Zacharias sensed that she was reluctant and put down his fork. If you find it tiring, I can't guarantee I won't take you to events where people might recognize you. Shirley looked at him nervously. No. I'm not tired. I'm willing to do it. This threatening method was indeed quite effective. Come upstairs and find me in 20 minutes. Zacharias said before leaving. Oh. Is it starting tonight? Shirley asked in surprise. Do you want to pick a specific time? The man retorted. Even if she was unwilling, she had to endure it because she couldn't afford to offend this man. All right. I'll come upstairs in a while, Shirley replied. She just realized that the man had finished all the dumplings in his bowl. It seemed like he had been really hungry. It made sense, this man's mental work must be quite heavy, which made him more prone to hunger. Shirley washed the dishes and tidied up the table. It was already 11 p.m. when she was done with it. She sighed while thinking, it's just 3 months. I can endure it. However, when she thought about it now, 3 months seemed quite long. 90 days. This is unbelievable. Shirley went up to the 3rd floor, headed to the study, and found that the lights were off. She couldn't help but wonder if he was in his bedroom. It was not appropriate for a girl to go to a man's bedroom this late at night. She took a deep breath and pushed open the door to the man's master bedroom. To her surprise, there was no sign of the man in the bedroom with dark gray walls. However, she could hear the sound of water coming from the bathroom. She suddenly felt awkward. Was this man planning to have her massage him after he took a bath? She grew up in the base, where she had seen many shirtless men and never felt embarrassed, but why did she feel uneasy? Doing it for Zacharias? At that moment, the bathroom door opened, and Zacharias came out wearing only black pajama pants, exposing his full chest muscles and tight abdominal muscles. Shirley's breath became a bit chaotic. Did this man really not consider her as an outsider? Was she allowed to watch this for free? Mr. Flintstone, do you want to wear something? Shirley suggested. No, he said while using a towel to dry his hair. His usually neat hair was now disheveled on his forehead, making him look a few years younger. After drying his hair, he draped the towel around his neck and casually lay on his large gray bed. Shirley took a deep breath and walked over. She reached out and began massaging his shoulders to relax his neck and shoulders. If the pressure is too much, please let me know, Shirley said while focusing on the task at hand. After all, it wasn't a shameful thing, many people paid for massages outside. She diligently massaged the man's shoulders and back by utilizing her knowledge of massage techniques to apply the right pressure in accordance with the muscle structure, aiming to provide relaxation. His back muscles were indeed well-defined and strong. Each muscle held hidden power. It was no wonder he had such good physical prowess. He didn't cut corners when it came to his exercise routine. Go lower, Zacharias said in a husky voice. Shirley stopped her hands at his waist. Did he really want her to go lower? No. She couldn't do this, she didn't want to behave indecently. Mr. Flintstone, it's very late. You should rest early. She stopped and covered him with the blanket. Also, the temperature of the air conditioning is a bit low, be careful not to catch a cold. After saying that, she turned and left. Zacharias lifted his head, propped his chin with his hand, and watched the departing girl. Beneath his sharply defined brow, his thick eyelashes cast a shadow on his face. His usually piercing and intimidating eyes now carried a hint of disappointment. His body was no longer calm. There was a clear reaction below his abdomen. Shirley returned to her room before covering her chest and exhaling. Her heart was also in a mess. What kind of job was this? She came here to be a bodyguard, but ended up being a personal maid. She was willing to do any work, but she really didn't want to do things like what she just did.
Thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed this story, please like and share so others can see it too. Also hit the subscription button and notification bell so you can be notified on our next release. Thank you for your support. God bless you.